How's it going, everyone? This is Mike, and I'm here to do an episode of Genre Files. This week we're doing horror films, and I haven't done one of these for about 3 weeks. I think I missed 3 weeks in a row, so I'm going to jump back in with this category that I love, horror films. And I was trying to think of something different to do because I have a tendency to talk about the same movies over and over again, and so I was trying to come up with a different idea. So I decided just to talk about the most recent horror film that I watched, and that was a couple of weeks ago. I finally got around to watching the Spanish version of Dracula, okay, which was, of course, made at Universal Studios in 1930. At the same time, they were making the English language version, directed by Todd Browning and starring Bela Lugosi at Universal. They were filming that during the day, and at night they would use the same sets, different director, a guy named George Melford, that I know nothing else about, and, of course, an all Spanish-speaking cast. And I also have it on the 75th edition of Dracula. Do not have the Dracula Legacy collection. I don't know why I never bought those, but I started buying these single versions of the Universal films, and I just decided I thought I was saving money or something, which of course isn't true. But now I'd like to kind of get all the Legacy editions, and I have bought a couple of them. So anyway, about Dracula. I'd always heard that the Spanish language version of Dracula was a little bit different than the American version and a little bit livelier. So I sat down to watch it, and I have to say that, well, after watching the first few scenes that feature, what's his name, Carlos Villarreal's as Dracula with the actor who played Renfield, and was fascinated by the opening scenes because that to me is the best part of the American Dracula film, with Bela Lugosi and Dwight Frye in the castle in Transylvania and all of that beautiful atmospheric photography, and introducing Bela Lugosi as he walks down the stairs slowly with the candelabra. I mean, those are just such iconic visions to me that I will never get out of my system. So I was very interested in seeing how it would open up. And I have to say that I don't know anything about Carlos Villarreal as an actor other than this film, but he sure is not a Bela Lugosi. And I was not impressed by his performance, probably because I am so completely... I mean, the appearance of Bela Lugosi, his magical aura, and that amazing voice, and those eyes are just so ingrained in me as being, this is what Dracula is, right? That I was not able to accept this other guy as being Dracula, and was also not that impressed by the actor playing Renfield. He is no Dwight Frye. So I have to say that it wasn't long before I just fell right to sleep, and I woke up somewhere in the middle of the movie and then, wound it backwards so that I could watch it all again. And I did watch it all the way to the end. And to me, it wasn't that much different than the American version. Very little, well, almost no music except for the playing of Swan Lake at the beginning and the one scene where they were at in the theater, hearing music being played. Other than that, it was basically a silent film. And I think that is my biggest criticism of not only the Spanish version but also the American version. That Todd Browning was primarily stuck in the idea of making a silent film. And it's not to say that I don't like silence in movies. As I say, that opening scene with Bela Lugosi and Dwight Frye is largely silent with a few sound effects, and it is so impressive and so wonderful. But it's impressive and wonderful because the sets were wonderful and because of Lugosi and Dwight Frye. In my opinion, talking now more about the American version than the Spanish version, which I doubt seriously that I will ever watch again. Whenever Lugosi and or Dwight Frye are on screen, the film comes to life, and it's exciting. It's mesmerizing to me. But when they are not on screen, I think that it comes to a dead stop, and I didn't always feel that way. And maybe it's because I've seen the movie so many times, and I've been conditioned by other films that depict vampirism, and I kind of compare one to the other, which is not really fair. But I do think that Todd Browning was not that great of a director of sound pictures, and he did a much better job a few years down the road at MGM when he made Mark of the Vampire, also with Bela Lugosi, essentially playing Dracula again, but by a different name. And his performance in that film was silent, completely silent, until a few words at the end. That was also a very, very atmospheric film, which made use of silence. But I think he did a much better job with that. And of course, it was a remake of his lost silent film, London After Midnight. So I will always love Dracula. Nothing is ever going to change that. But I'm much more critical about it than I was when I was a kid. I mean, when you first see Bela Lugosi when you're 11 or 12 years old, he fixes those eyes on you, and then you're trapped in that vision forever. And happily so. I don't ever want to give up the fact that I revere Bela Lugosi and this film. And to me, he will always be Dracula. But in comparing this to, well, let's say the other classic Universal film that came out the same year, which was Frankenstein, directed by James Whale, a much more exciting sound picture. James Whale was, in my opinion, a much better and much more creative director than Todd Browning. It's not, but still, I don't want to be disrespectful to Dracula because I will, like I said, I'll always love it. But I do see the flaws in a way that I did not see when I was 11, 12 years old. And I guess I'm babbling like crazy, so I don't know what else I want to say. But I did watch the Spanish version of Dracula. I would recommend that everybody who's interested in classic cinema, especially the Universal films, and you want to just do it as a curiosity or a learning process, then definitely it's a must see. But other than that, I don't know what else I can say about it that would be positive. I think that Lupita Tovar, who played the Helen Chandler character, whose name right now escapes me. What was her name in the film? I can't remember. I should know that. Good grief. Anyway, I thought that she was a little bit more of a lively actress than Helen Chandler. And in the scene where that character is so affected by her association with Dracula that she wants to attack her fiance, I think that Lupita Tovar's performance was a little bit more convincing than that of Helen Chandler. So that was a good thing. So I don't know what else I want to say, but I do still love Dracula. I just see it in a little bit of a different way than I did when I was young. So in a way, it's kind of sad because I just want to keep on loving these films and never be critical about them. But then, I don't know, being critical is not such a bad thing. So shut up, Mike. Okay, thanks for watching. You can argue with me about Dracula or anything else you want, and I will argue back. Thank you.